one of the things that I love to do is educate the community. One of the things that have happened to me in my life, at 38, I had an angioplasty, I had an angiogram, I had a stent, I had 3 arteries blocked, my right ventricle collapsed. I mean, I was in pretty much bad shape. I went from Mississauga Hospital, then from Mississauga Hospital, they brought me to Toronto East General. From Toronto East General, the next day they brought me to Sunnybrook. And then from there, they found more and more and more issues. At that time, probably around, when I was 38, I'm 45 now, you guys, I was around 320 pounds. Okay, so I had a size 50 waist, 5'0". I was pretty heavy. I was probably a lot heavier than the average person in my size. So this is my pants then. So a lot of people, like Mercy and people, knew me as this big. I'm now less than 160 pounds. So I've lost over 160 pounds. Okay? Thank you. So when I was in the cardiac care unit, there was a person there with a 95, another person with a 92. I had a 97% blockage in my main artery in my heart. They call it the widowmaker. And that's the one that's been clogging and clogging, and it's been happening for generations and generations. My nationality is Filipino. Do you guys know what the top 3 nationalities are that are getting heart attacks every day? So if you go to the cardiac care unit in Georgetown, Mississauga, Toronto, Etobicoke, any hospital that you guys go to, what are the top 3 nationalities? We could go top 20, but I found out I might have only half an hour. So we're only going to go through the top 3 nationalities. What are the top 3 nationalities that you'll find in the cardiac care unit today? Which one is that? Anybody have any guesses? Africans? Okay, let me tell you. Number 2 is Filipinos. I'm Filipino. We do it to ourselves because we love to eat. We have rice, we have noodles, we call it pancit, we have our dessert, we have, if you ask any Filipino and a lot of nationalities that eat rice, and they say, rice is life. So at the end of the day, that's what a lot of people believe, but what we don't realize, these carbs and a lot of things that we're doing is destroying us. Food is one thing. What is the second thing that's destroying us?
Lifestyle.
Alcohol, what else? Cigarettes, what else? Sedentary lifestyle, what else?
Water.
Bad water, okay? What else? Not drinking enough water. So, I got here some pamphlets because we're from the Heart and Stroke. I got stuff on, what to expect. I got stuff for, how could you maybe increase your lifestyle or your chance of living by over 10 years if you just follow some of the things that you said. So you guys know that if you have an active lifestyle and you keep exercising, so we tell everybody exercise 30 minutes every day after you eat. I know a lot of people, wow, that's a lot, but at the end of the day, it can make a difference of 4 years. Okay? The next one here, we said eating a balanced diet can actually add 3 years of quality life to you. Okay? So now eating, like Filipinos, we're eating rice, noodles, carbs, dessert is carbs, everything is carbs. We eat carb on carb on carb on carb on carb. We're not helping ourselves. Filipinos, by the time they hit 45, 50, we're hitting fatty liver, we're hitting diabetes, we're hitting cholesterol, we're doing high blood. What you guys got to remember is you guys said African Americans are in the top 3. You guys are number what? 3. You guys are number 3. Okay? Filipinos, we love eating too much, so we beat you guys. Number 3 are African Americans because you're prone to sickle cell anemia, prone to diabetes, cholesterol, and high blood. At the end, there's a little genetics factor there too. Number 1 is who? Which group?
First Nations.
What else? It is Indian, but not First Nation. So it's your Indians from India. Then at the end, why are they number 1? Too much sugar is the number 1 thing that's killing everybody. Why is sugar bad for us? 80% of the sugar that we eat, okay, it goes to our system and actually turns to fat and then it suffocates all of our different organs. I used to have a big belly. More sugar I ate, all the chemicals will bind to my belly, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So at the end, all of these chemicals, especially sugar, why is another reason why sugar is bad for us? Cause diabetes, what else? Cancer. So the number one thing that we're all afraid of right now is cancer, because you got to remember, if you add two things to your lifestyle, and that is sugar, and you add stress, and I know a lot of people in this community, and now my community, and around the world, living 3 years at home, you know, I had to stay with my wife. It was wonderful, but, you know, we all had different issues that we had to deal with. If it was maybe money, maybe it was the kids going to school, maybe it was, you know, the family back home, because we have to help educate them coming down here. Whatever it may be, those stressors, it affects us. We always tell kids in high schools, if you want to kill your parents, you stress them out. Why? Because 80% of your cholesterol is created at what time? During the day and during the night. Or during the night. Which one is it?
Daytime.
Which one?
During the day.
Well, how many people think cholesterol is created at day? Raise your hand. Okay, how many people think it's created as night? At night. Now, so some of you guys are taking some kinds of medication. Let me show you some of the ones that I had to take, because the doctor said to me, Terry, you now are... Oh, no, that's not my picture. It looks the same. Okay, so now some people will come up with the issues that I had, and they get a thing of these. They get nitro. They get diabetes. Just give it a round.
No, just explain the water.
In a minute. Okay, now you got metformin, maybe aspirin, 81 milligrams a day. Maybe some people are taking nitro. Some people taking blood thinner. Some people are taking rovastatin. You know, these statins. What are these statins good for? This is what's helping break down your cholesterol at night. So that's why we're being told to take these medications every day, right? At the end of the day, we want to try to teach people prevention. We don't want them to always do medication. If you come to my school in Mississauga at Nurses Education Peel, and you want to take the course of medication, of course we're going to teach anybody about it, but we want to teach people about prevention. We want to teach people that, like me, where I was 320 pounds, how we can get to a more controllable weight, where we can control our diabetes, cholesterol. Maybe even help people with living and coping with cancer better. So at the end of the day, after today, if you guys want my information, I can share it with you. If you want to talk to Mercy here, her husband, this is something that, you know, if you guys want to learn more or how we can help the community, this is something what we can do. We've been able to help people here in the community, in Toronto, Mississauga, Georgetown, Brampton. We've also been able to help people back home, okay? So at the end of the day, remember guys, you have to control your stress. You have to be able to control what you eat. And at the end of the day, what we're going to teach you guys is a little bit about CPR. Why do you guys need to know about CPR? Why is CPR important? To resuscitate the person. Right? So if you guys actually had to save somebody, okay, in your community or friends or family or whoever it may be, who would you have to help out probably first? Is it a stranger or is it a loved one? It's probably going to be a loved one. So that's why we want you guys to know how to do compressions properly. Okay? How much time do I have?
Not much.
Okay, so what I want you guys to do here, if you guys want to grab a card later, sometimes people want to know, what am I going to expect if somebody is having that stroke? What am I going to see? You know, we do have, what do you call it, videos. So if you want to go YouTube and you look up the acronym FAST, F-A-S-T, you will actually see a video there. We're going to show it, but I don't want to waste time. You can actually see what happens to the person's face. If the person has a stroke, maybe that person's going to have a left side weakness. So you'll see drooping. Maybe you'll see the arm itself not moving, where the person's going to be leaning on one side because it's all weak. And maybe when they start speaking, there's a lot of slurring and they won't be able to communicate because they'll be disorientated. Okay, and this is the time. The most important thing is to call 911. Okay, because at the end of the day, if you do not call 911 and it takes you 15 minutes to try helping that person, and then it takes another 15 minutes for paramedics to come, that person might not have a high chance of survival. Now, some of you guys might be in the medical field or not, but I'm going to ask you, if the person has a heart attack, what happens the first 4 minutes? The brain. So what happens to the brain in 4 minutes?
Brain dead.
The brain starts dying. It will have irreversible brain damage. They'll have necrosis. That person will never live a normal life. Now, what will happen to the person if it hits 10 minutes?
We're going to a shock.
So what happens to the person in 10 minutes? That person will probably die. Now, what is the average wait time? If I call right now, I call up on the phone and I ask the first paramedics to come. I have a person down in room 306 here on the 4th floor, and paramedics need to come. What is how long does it take for paramedics to come? 13 to 15 minutes on a good day. On a bad day, it can take 20 to 40 minutes. Now, if it takes you 15 to 20 minutes, what happened to your family member? They died. Okay, in Toronto East General, it's a lot close-knit, maybe a little bit easier in access, but in Toronto, there's around 350 paramedics that will go out. And there's around 350 paramedics that will come back. Every hour, a paramedic is bringing somebody in. You could get close to 350 people going to Toronto East General in the span of 4 hours. If 4 hours, 350 people keep coming in, that's, a lot of people. That's 400, 400, 400, 400, 400, 400. That's over 2,000 people. Now, if we have that many people going into the hospital, and all we need to do is learn hands-only CPR, is it important?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that's why we have other things here on how to do hands-only CPR. Okay, if you guys want to know about, blood pressure and stuff like that, we have some information here how to track. If you guys want to know about some of the things here that you need to help to prevent a heart attack, that maybe you can even increase your lifestyle and have a better quality life, we want you to grab one of these. Now, CPR, everybody has to know it. That's why we want to do it in the community. It doesn't matter if you're a grandma, grandpa, if you're a lot of the times, if I ask a nurse, and any nurses in here? You're a nurse? And yes? If I ask anybody, in your family, then do they know CPR? She'll say for sure yes. But you got to remember, her other half, her friends, her family, they have to know it too. Who are the kids that are going to save usually the grandparents or the parents? Who is it? If you have grandparents with children, who's the one going to save the grandparent? It's usually the children. So that's why we have to also get them involved as well, because they're the ones going to call 911. They're the ones that are going to open the door. They're the ones always with the grandparents or the mom and dad. So they should know it too. So we also help kids. They want to work with the father or they want to work with the mother. We also do, classes where they can work together, bond together, or do a family CPR. Okay? When you have a person down, the person, we want them to be on the floor. Right now, I have the person on the table just so that you can see. But if we have them on the floor, when we push down on that person's chest, we will be able to compress it onto that person's chest properly. We want to get 5 centimeters to 2 inches. Some people as well, Terry, what do you mean by 5 centimeters to 2 inches? Well, we want to make sure that this person is always getting oxygen to the brain. You got to remember, time is always a factor. If they don't get it within 4 minutes, that person can die. If that person is 10 minutes past, that person can die. 4 minutes, that person will never live a normal life. Okay? Now, we always talk about compressions. We always talk about food. We always talk about drinks, diet, this, that. You guys got to remember, if we follow the Canadian food guide, we have a very better chance of survival. When we eat, we want to make sure we're trying to eat healthy. So what I also brought you guys here is another thing that you guys can take a look at is different diets or different kinds of food. Because when we eat, do we want to eat food that's acidic or do we want to eat things that are alkaline?
Alkaline.
Alkaline. So there's a little chart here. I have a few of them here. You want to take a picture, you can take a look at what's alkaline and what's acidic. And if the person has cancer, we want them to eat this kind of food. Okay? Our blood is 7.365 alkaline. We want to keep it alkaline. If it's too acidic, it thickens up and slows down, and that's when all the issues start occurring. Okay, so this is another thing you guys can look at. Now, one of the things that we always talk about is atherosclerosis. I talked about how 80% of atherosclerosis is created at night. Now, this is one of the fats that you might experience, right? Now, when you guys drink water, usually we get people to bring different types of water. Maybe Great Canadian, maybe Aquafina, maybe, what is this one? Dalsani. When you guys went to school and you mix oil and water, what happens?
They don't mix.
What happens? It separates, right? So what happens is, when I drink this water, what happens, it goes into my stomach, but it separates from my fat from my belly. It's not mixing and mixing and mixing. Now, let's just say, I'm going to teach you guys about a kind of water out there. And this is it here. So now, if you can drink this water, and it's alkaline, and it has a very high negative ORP, so it helps prevent oxidation, the aging process. And it also helps emulsify fat. Would that be good? Right? That'd be like a miracle, right? So I'm going to show you this miracle water here. Okay? This is what you guys are drinking now. Now, what is the difference between the water that you guys buy at the store, or your tap water or bottled water, compared to the water that we just gave you? So the reason why Mercy invited me too is because if you guys ever want to drink this water twice before you go to sleep, it can actually help prevent a heart attack. It can help a lot of people with atherosclerosis. It can help with, instead of the thickening of the walls, it can help thin it down. You have a question? Yes, sir. So these one here, you want to drink something that can help emulsify fat. You want to drink something that has a very high negative ORP, is a very high antioxidant. Because it's very high, it can actually help emulsify fat. As nurses, we give cancer patients very high alkaline water in stage 4 cancer. But do we want to give people the water only at stage 4 cancer? No. So we have a machine back there, and this is one machine that we want you guys to try. I don't know how you guys do it. With our church, we have one in the church. We have one in the community. I have offices in Mississauga, Brampton, and Scarborough where people will come and get water for free. So I want you guys to try it. I know Mercy and her husband, they have one. They can help and share it with you guys. But at the end of the day, it's up to you guys if this is something for you. I don't want people to come, hey Terry, okay, I want to come when it's too late. We want to teach children prevention when it's early. We don't want to wait 10, 20 years from now where they've already affected themselves. And now for people like in this room, we want to share it to people so that we can help people now. So what we're trying to do is teach people about prevention. We're trying to teach people about eating healthy. We want to teach people about living a better quality of life by also following these steps here. But we also want to, if it ever happens, knock on wood, it ever happens, we want you to be able to save the person's life. Yes? The water is straight from the tap. But what happened is it's an ionizer where it actually changed the structure on it. So if you get regular tap water, this is called healthy living water, where if you actually ignite the water on the tap, it has so much chemicals it won't do anything. But because water is H2O and it has hydrogen, if you actually turn it on from the tap, it changes the structure. And when you light it, it will actually pop because of the hydrogen. But then you could actually see, if you drink this water and you drink it constantly. So we always tell people, you know, if you guys want to join with them and try it for 2 weeks, you'll be able to change your water from head to toe, and then you can see the conditions with your diabetes, your cholesterol, your high blood. And it's up to you then if you want to give it a try and continue. Okay? So we're giving out water here. You just drink the water. Yes, sir. Yeah. Sorry guys. Go ahead.
Please, thanks for doing a wonderful job.
Sorry.
You're doing a wonderful job.
Sorry, one second.
You're doing a wonderful job, but I would like you to complete the process of
Okay.
I want you to complete the process of CPR
Okay.
then before we go back to prevention, because if you are going into CPR, you go back to prevention and all that, it's going to
Well, what I did is, okay, so the question is, I want to go back to CPR and not about the prevention. So I was told I only have less than 20 minutes. So at the end, I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of everything. Then it's up to you guys if you guys want, and we can actually do like classes where we can actually help train people. My goal every month is to work with the community. Every month, go to the community and teach families the different ways of how we could do prevention, about the water, about CPR. Compressions is the most important, okay? Because at the end, we can actually create that blood flow and we can keep that person's brain alive. So what I want you guys to do, is when I come back the next time, hopefully, I want you guys to practice. I do have dummies here, but at the end, I don't want to fill everything with one topic. Yes.
So first, the water is
So the water that we're using right now, the one you're drinking is around 9.5. This is around 11.5. This is 11. That's okay.
the CPR.
The CPR, yeah?
So I see you doing more of the compression. So there is no mouth to mouth. Okay.
We do not teach lay rescuers or people non-medical mouth to mouth. The reason why is because if a person gave mouth to mouth and you give too much air and it goes into the stomach, what happens? It will cause that person to regurgitate and vomit. Now, if you have a person that's not, their heart is not working, they're not breathing, and I give them air and they vomit because it's just a reaction, what happens now is you'll have a choking victim. So now, all we want you guys to do, it doesn't matter if it's a child, infant, or adult, we want you guys to do chest compressions, and compressions only. Because remember, that compressions will create blood flow. There's still 20 to 30% of oxygen in the blood. We can keep that brain still alive.
2 questions.
Yes.
What is the recommended pH level?
Everybody's pH level should. Dr. Otto, he won the Nobel Prize in 1931 because he found out that cancer can't thrive in an alkaline environment. So he won the Nobel Prize because he found that anybody that drinks 8.5 and higher, it's better, because anything lower than 8.5, cancer thrives and it loves to metastasize and grow. So our blood is 7.365 alkaline. We're always telling people since the beginning of time to always eat alkaline, always drink alkaline. So if you look at this, all the fruits and vegetables are all alkaline. That's what we want to eat. That's what we've been teaching. So we want people to eat alkaline from the beginning. When you're in the womb, the baby is already alkaline in the fluid.
second question is,
Yeah, 1.4.
showed us a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
but it looks like you're missing the most important thing, which is what did you do to lose weight?
So what did I lose to lose weight? Is I drank water. That's it. No, well, I ate spaghetti before I came here. I eat quite a bit. Like, so people, when they see me eat, I still eat the same thing. But if you guys drank the water, you guys can put the water in rice. You can put it in soups. You can put it in stews. You can drink it as water. You can put it in your coffee. You can put it in your tea. So instead of me telling everybody that I've been doing for years, exercise diet, are people listening? No. But then I can actually tell them to just change, add water to their lifestyle.
Yeah, so final question. So you demonstrated for us, from me, you demonstrated for us,
Yes.
right? And then you are now referring it to cancer. So how does fat relate to cancer? Because I'm not-
Well, fat is this is for atherosclerosis. When you're drinking water that's like 9.5, you guys are drinking something that's healthy for you. So the water that you guys are drinking, it is also emulsifying fat like this, but at the same time, it's giving an environment for that cancer not to thrive and metastasize and grow and grow. Okay? So that's why we're always trying to tell people that, you know, have a better quality life, eat healthy, drink healthy, because we're always telling people, you know, you are what you eat. And if you're going to drink pop 24/7 and you're going to eat unhealthy 24/7, in Sunnybrook on the 4th floor when I worked at Sunnybrook, we called pop cancer in a bottle. I'm going to ask you, pop is what acidity? 2.4 acidic. If you drink pop, what is it full of? Sugar. So at the end of the day, the acidity, the sugar, all of that stuff is not going to help people with different cancers and sicknesses.
Excuse me, please. What is the process of?
You can boil it or everything, because you got to remember, if it takes out all the chemicals and you have very clean water and you boil it, freeze it, whatever you want to do. My uncles, they come to my house and they drink alcohol. I get cubes of water. I get water and make cubes of it. And every time they drink, I put it inside and I give it to them. It's already neutralizing their drink, so it's protecting their drink. And they don't know. Yes, sir.
Now, you want to learn from the company?
Yeah. So if you guys want to know more about reverse osmosis water, I want you guys to go to Google. You guys can Google World Health Organization. You guys know who that is? Yes, right? The WHO. At the end, they're the ones that control a lot that's happening everywhere around the world and here. They have a 250-page why you should not be drinking reverse osmosis. I cannot go through the whole thing right now, but it will tell you why it's not good for you.
Do we have reverse osmosis water in Canada right now?
Well, we have reverse osmosis machines. People get it in their house.
So Health Canada is allowing reverse osmosis water.
These 2 bottles of water are both reverse osmosis. Your Dasani and your Aquafina.
So Health Canada is
Approving it.
But please, can you explain?
It's money.
Can you
It's an
please
easy-
explain to us the process of, getting this water you are recommending for us?
Okay,
What is
so
that?
what
What is
I'm
the
going
process?
to do, because what we do is we allow people to try it, okay? And then at the end, it's up to you. If you guys want to, we can always figure out a way how we can get it throughout the community. So Mercy and her husband, if you guys want, what we're gonna do is we could go through that later by getting my information or anything. But at the end, I just wanna concentrate right now on the health about it, because what people, you might have another question, sir. Yes.
Yes, sorry, I think we're having so many topics at the same time and a very short time. And that's why we are all over the place. And
Yeah.
our people need to go home with one thing. You're doing a very great job, but you're struggling to meet up with time. What I think is, we first of all continue with CPR. CPR, I mean, how many strokes does a person get, and at what time? And if there's no getting mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, what do they do? Because I know that Nexalon is antidote for heroin. Everybody carries it. If you do 30 strokes of CPR, the person needs to get epinephrine in between to help out. I understand this is beyond your scope because the health has, the Ministry of Health has approved that, where everybody carries antidote of epinephrine.
Well,
hold on. So that if you give 30 stroke, if there's no mouth-to-mouth resuscitation policy available, you can give a shot of antidote. Just like they give a shot of Nexalon when somebody's overdose of heroin. So I don't see why we can't have that. So I want us to finish up and if possible, get one or two people to come over there and show us what they have learned about CPR first aid, and we complete on that, and then we're going to beg my executives to bring you guys back. Then we can talk about other topics like prevention, what we take in our mouth, and how we go about that.
Yeah.
But
So when it comes to like
so we need to
different
finish
types-
up with CPR first aid, so we'll go on with something.
Yeah.
Thank
So the thing I want you guys to know when you're dealing with CPR, the most important thing too is to call 911. Okay? In any emergency situation, okay, you don't know if it's gonna escalate and get worse, so you have to call 911. 911 is the most important thing because especially if you're dealing with family, they can help you step by step. I could call 911 right now, I can open the phone, they can tell me how to do hands-only CPR. CPR, we're always only talk about CPR today, we're not talking about breast medication. If the person, you know, is having different kinds of symptoms where, you know, they're experiencing, you know, the face, you know, all of those different things, the person is still aware, you can give that person maybe 2 aspirins, break it and put it under the tongue. Then if that person goes down where they become not responding, they're not breathing, that's when we're gonna do CPR and hands-only CPR. I know when I'm treating, when we're doing the A, B, or C, we're teaching people 30 and 2 and 5 sets, but only today, we're only doing hands-only CPR. If you're gonna do compressions, we want you to do at least 120 per minute. We want you to do compressions, but at the end, we wanna make sure that you guys are trying to switch every 2 minutes. So once you hit that 100 or 120 compressions, then we're gonna get somebody else to switch. Then at the end, we're gonna make sure that they're doing it properly, and we're only going to do compression. And we're going to be switching every 2 minutes. If you have 5 people in the group, every 2 minutes, we're gonna switch so that that person providing compressions is going to do a very good job. We don't want one person doing it for the next 10, 20 minutes, and they're going to get tired, okay? So what we're going to do, I don't know if you guys want. Do you guys want me to stay with compressions, or do you want me to deal with child's choking? That's another big thing that a lot of people are always worried about, especially with small kids, okay? So what we're gonna do then, I guess, we'll do compressions. We can even get people to try it. We can even get people to do the compression so that they know how it would be if they had to do it in real life. Why we always tell people to use an AED is because the AED, once you turn on that AED, the defibrillator, you know, to shock the person, they usually put a pad here and here. It shocks the person. The reason why we use that is because it can restart the person's heart. And if it restarts the person's heart, we put them into recovery position. Usually what happens in the first 2 minutes, that first person might vomit, but then as long as we know that person's heart is working, the person's breathing, we keep testing them in that position, we know that person is still okay. But if the breathing and the heart stops, we put them back down, we start doing CPR. Okay? So now, when we do it again, the compressions, here's the middle line and the lower half. So compressions are usually delivered on the lower half of the breastbone or on the nipple line. If it's other people, we just tell them put it in the center. Okay? So when we put our hand down, we're gonna put our other hand on top. Can I get 2 volunteers that I'm gonna coach them and we're gonna train and we're gonna teach them how to do it? Okay, 2 people? All right, can I pick 2 people? Come on in. Okay. This young gentleman has volunteered.
Okay, I'll come.
You're gonna come, whoever, come on.
The volunteer is the victim.
Okay. I want you guys then, if there's more than 2 people,
How will
I
you
don't, no, come on.
This is not to sell property.
Here and right here. What I want them to do is make sure, okay, do we know how to check a pulse, guys? Nobody knows. Okay, when we check a pulse, I want you guys to put 2 fingers up in the air. Okay? And I want you guys then to put it on your neck. So this lovely lady here, they almost put it across. Testing and going across, is it good? Okay, so if I go here, I want you guys to always work on the side closest to you. You don't want to go across and then push down. Because if you push down, you can cause a blockage. Okay? Now the other thing is, they say it's a carotid pulse. Why do we always say carotid pulse? Where is carotid pulse? Here. Right? Carotid is here.
Is it on the left or the right side?
It's either left or right side.
Both sides.
Both sides. So sir, if I was testing you, I could test here, or I can test here. Okay? But I'm always using these 2 fingers. Do we ever use our thumb?
No.
No. The reason why is because if I use my thumb, you can feel your own pulse. Okay? So I have some people sometimes, can we borrow? They'll go like this, and they'll go, okay, okay, no, nothing yet, and then they see the thumb start creeping in. And they'll be like, yeah, I got it. No. Okay? Why don't we check here? Why not? Why carotid? Why here?
Higher pressure.
This is the closest to the heart. This here artery is 5th intercostal muscle. That's the closest, that's the distance. It's the strongest one, it's the last one to go. While if you're here, you might not, it's already difficult sometimes people filling out on each other. That's why we're always picking carotid. Now, when we do carotid, this gentleman here is gonna check the pulse, we check for 5 to 10 seconds. So everybody check the carotid, you should be able to feel it, okay? And you go all the way up. Yeah? Okay? Now, if you don't know where it is, you can always get somebody else, remove your finger and put it there, and you can find it. Okay? If that person is not responding, you're calling 911 after that. So if there's no response, and you can't find the pulse, automatically we are now going to call 911. So I'm going to get anybody, so I'll say to my Venus, call 911, we're on the 4th floor here, we have a person down, and then we have to tell them who they are, if they're on medication, what's their history, stuff like that. If we're not sure, we tell them where it is, then we start doing CPR. So he's been already checking the pulse within 5 to 10 seconds. Now what happens is, he's doing a great job too. Now what we're going to do is we're going to landmark. Where's the nipple line? So here's the nipples here. Okay, there's the nipples. Underneath the nipple line, that is where you're going to put your palm. Okay, so your palm right there, right there. So the palm of your hand. Nope, this way. Yeah. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put your hand on the center there. You're going to put your hand on top. Okay, so lock it together. Okay. And what we want to do is we want to make sure your shoulders are over the palm. Okay, so your shoulders, your arms straight, have to be over your palm. Okay. So now, when we if this table is higher than your waist, then you have to be on the floor. Okay? We're only doing this now here. If the person ever did collapse, we're never going to put them on this table here. Because if that person goes on the table, and then I go on the table, this table is probably going to go down. Okay? So just pretend we're on the floor. When we count to doing compression, it's one and. The one is the compression, the and is the up. We have to allow the rib cage to get pushed down, and we have to allow it to re-push. Sometimes people will push, and they're not lifting their hand up, and they're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's like they're pushing a dead wall. It's not going to happen. You have to allow the chest to pop up. So that's why it's a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. So now, what we're going to do, we're going to count with this gentleman, with these two gentlemen here, and we're going to do 5 sets of 30. Okay? And you're going to follow my count. And we're going to see who gets tired first. But if anybody's going to have a heart attack, we have to stop. If you're going to hurt your elbows or anything like that, we got to stop. So you guys are going to count with me. You're going to count 1 and 2 and 3, and at the same time, you're going to compress. You're going to push all the way down and come back up. Okay, everybody together. I want you guys to count too, because then you guys will know how long just 2 minutes would take. Okay? Ready? Count it together. Ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, 9 and 10. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 9 and 10. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 30. Okay? Ready? Keep going. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 30. 1 and 2 and 3.
Stop.
So what we're going to do it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 30. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 30. Okay, keep going.
That's not what you call that 41.
Okay, stop. So right now they did 120 compressions. That took you very close to 2 minutes. They're probably around 30 seconds short. But at the end of the day, imagine that only took 2 minutes. So if it took paramedics 20 minutes to come, you'd be doing that at least 10 times.
The guys are exhausted.
Yes. Yes.
We're not getting it right.
Where?
Because the beat of the palm is supposed to be third, not the other way around.
So if you do it, if this is the xiphoid right here, this palm should be just a little bit higher.
Yes.
Right here.
Because if you stop
Yeah.
doing it at the point, the person will.
So his hands were slipping. So
Yes.
that's why I had to move it up. But once we find that xiphoid, the nipple line, where it intersects from the center and the nipple line, that is where we're going to put the point of our palm. Okay, so the intersection to here, the nipple line right here, right under the nipple line is where we put that person. Okay? Do any of these.
You have to avoid the nipple, right?
Usually what happens is these click, but I guess the ones we brought didn't click. But then we would get people to try it out, and if you hear the clicking, then they would know how deep it is. But then what we're always telling people, when you do compressions, you do it as hard as you can. I'm gonna ask you guys, if the person's ribs break, do you stop? No. No, you continue. Now I'm gonna ask you guys. Go ahead, yes.
You must feel, since you can't give mouth-to-mouth sensation, you have to feel the nose, the air.
Well, in the beginning, if we're looking for the person responding, then in the beginning, if we assess the person and we can't hear it, we can't feel it, we can't see chest rise, then that's when we start doing CPR. We would do 30 and 2 and 5 sets until the paramedics come, or just say 30 compressions. We would do compressions. We would rotate every 2 minutes until paramedics come. But once we get the assessment in the beginning, that person went down. Usually what happens is, if the person, it is witnessed where you see the face drooping, everything is happening, if that person collapses and stops breathing, and when we push on that chest, that person doesn't say, ow, we know that person is out. If that person's heart starts working and says, ow, then we know that person, is aware now. Okay, at the end of the day, we need to make sure though, the most important, when we know that person is not responding, not breathing, we need to do compressions. Okay, compressions is what will give that person, a second chance or a regular normal life. Okay. Okay. Now, any other questions?
What would you say about ethics around CPR?
Say it again, what?
What would you say about ethics around CPR?
What do you mean?
What would you say about how we start you need to, assess the person and ask. I know the person was saying before it's unconscious.
So when you
There's the ethics around it.
So when you see-
everyone will accept. Not everyone will allow you to perform a CPR.
It all depends on the person. If that person is awake, okay? If that person is aware and maybe they're choking, and at the end, they say to you, I don't need help, because the person's giving you that universal sign of choking, and then you're saying, can I help you? And they go, you are not allowed to help them. But then, once that person passes out and goes on the floor and can't respond and can't save themselves, can you help them? Yes, because it becomes non-verbal, right? That if I ask that person when they're alive, if I ask any of you guys, would you like to live or die? All of you guys will probably say, I'd like to live. But then, because they can't save themselves, we are then allowed to help them. The only time we're not allowed to help them is if they have a DNR. Meaning what? Do not resuscitate. If that person has a DNR, wherever you are, you just can't do it. If you don't know, then you're just going to do your best. If they have a bracelet, they have the necklace, they have anything, then you can do it. Okay, so my wife is saying, and I get it, in the beginning, how do we know? If you guys see that person, in the beginning having all of these different signs and symptoms, and they pass out and they're not breathing, once we check their pulse and we see that they're not breathing, we can't hear it, we can't feel it, we can't see it, then we're going to go straight into CPR. That should only take us 5 to 10 seconds. So sometimes when the person is tapping that person, they're looking, they're seeing, they're feeling. If I see chest rise, then that person is probably breathing. If I can hear the breath and feel it, I know that person's breathing. But if I can't hear it, I can't feel it, I can't see it, then we're starting CPR. Okay? Okay? So at the end, when doing CPR and you're not sure and that person is not responding, do it. Because if the person is awake, they'll tell you to stop. Okay, what is the number one reason why kids are not surviving and children are not surviving today? Because of what? What else? The number one reason the person providing care for that child is afraid to hurt them. Now, if you have a child and you have an adult, which one is more delicate? Are you sure? Yes. I'm going to ask you guys now. How old are you? 10. How old are you? 7. We have a 7 and a 10-year-old. So now, if you guys had to ask the 7-year-old, maybe if he still can't do the splits, could he do it? Can you do the splits? No, not yet? Okay, now let's say we have a baby, a really small baby. And I grab this baby. All of you mothers and fathers will know this. You grab it and you go, hee, hee. Now, will they cry or will they laugh? They'll cry?
No, they'll laugh.
No, they'll laugh. But most of the time, you got to remember, babies are so flexible, they're undeveloped. That's why a 7-year-old can go skiing down the hill, fall down, pop back up, and daddy, let's go again. Right? Because they're not developed yet. But if I grab all of you adults and I go, hee hee hee, what would happen? What would happen? Oh, this came, that came, this came, that came. At the end, it happens. As we get older, we use up our calcium. If you are a pop drinker, we already know in Sunnybrook, the fastest people that die quickly are pop drinkers. Oh, he died within 6 months. We ask ourselves, did he drink pop? Right? Because at the end, you got to remember that pop, that sugar, that acidity, what is the only thing neutralizing that in our body? What is it? No, we don't drink enough water. Most of you guys are only drinking 3 to 4 glasses a day. So what is the only thing neutralizing in your body?
Salt.
Not exercise, because not everybody's exercising 30 minutes every day.
Salt.
No, it's your bones. That's why your bones become brittle. That's why when I'm doing CPR on somebody older, they're more delicate. So your answer is a child is usually less fragile than the adult, because the adult, their bones get weak over time. That's why when we're doing CPR on the adult, we hear breaking and cracking, but we don't stop. Okay? Okay, any questions? Okay, if you guys ever want, we do have a card that explains what to do for CPR, for, what to do in an emergency situation. So we can actually send it to you. I usually give it to everybody, but Heart and Stroke is trying to tell me to become more paper friendly. So at the end, we can send everything. It's all on the sites. We can send it to you guys if you guys want it, because they want us to become paperless. It's up to them. I don't want to start anything yet. No, it's okay. If I start showing you videos, it's going to take too long. But if you guys have questions, I'd rather try to answer the questions that what you might have in
I
mind.
didn't get what you said when you take pop. What do you use to neutralize it?
What is the only thing neutralizing pop in your body? You drink pop. Okay, what is neutralizing it in your body? No, because people don't drink enough water. How many people drink 8 waters a day, glasses of water a day? Right? 8. But that's just for basic function. That's for temperature. That's for bowel movement. That's for retaining water. That's for helping your cells and everything. But if you start eating an extra glass of pop, or you eat more rice, or you eat very unhealthy stuff, you're supposed to increase your water. But not everybody is doing that. So even drinking 8 glasses of water, it's probably not doing enough for a lot of us, because we're twisted. So our bones in our body, because it's calcium, the calcium will neutralize the pop and stuff. But then that allows you, when you get older, for you to become, if I would, in the nursing home, I can grab somebody, move and transfer them, put them down, they lie on their tailbone, and what happens? It breaks because of overtime of usage of calcium.
Okay, so what you're saying now is that if you drink pop, you do what?
Pop is not good for you. I tell you, never.
So I'd like to get answer. All these levels. If you drink pop, he asked, what do you do to neutralize? What do you drink?
There's nothing.
There's nothing.
Pop is a.
That's all I want to hear. That's all I want to hear.
Calcium in the body. So at the end, you don't want people. What we're trying to tell people is you got to live a better quality life. Pop is not it. Bubble tea is not it. Ice cream is not it. Any case sugar, anything that has a lot of sugar and additives and preservatives is not good.
What of
No, brandy and gin, you gotta remember. remember it's not always the greatest because it's still too acidic, right? Of course, it might be healthier for people that have heart problems and stuff like that, but at the end, it's still too acidic.
Can you go back a little bit on explain the acidic and the alkaline foods?
The acidic and alkaline. So if you look at the chart there, everything on the right side that's purple is alkaline, and that's what we want people to eat. The foods on the left are acidic. They're still good, but they're still acidic. But at the end, we're always telling people, if you're going to choose, eating both is good, but at the end, you cannot cancel what's out on the right side, the alkaline. A lot of people now have bad habits of eating too much rice, too much protein, but they're not eating their fruits and vegetables.
The right side is good foundation.
If you guys want, I have like Dr. Colleen. She can actually teach you guys about maybe nutrition. I can bring other people that are doctors that are specialty in their field so that they can help you answer a lot of questions.
Bring that one.
I can't hear you. Okay, so guys, so somebody asked me a question. Okay, so somebody asked me, how about the fruits? The fruits have a lot of sugar. But then he's gonna ask you guys, right? Okay, when you guys are eating, say,
Deacon, we are running out short of time, Deacon.
okay, so when you guys have a mango bubble tea, tastes wonderful, tastes like mango, but at the end has a lot of sugar. But when you're dealing with something like, mangoes that are fresh, you gotta remember, yes, it has a lot of sugar, but 80% of that can be broken down through exercise and diet. So of course, something fresh, something healthier with vitamins and everything like that is a lot better than drinking something that's artificial and fake. So I will always tell you guys to go for the healthier way. In the Philippines or where you guys are from in Nigeria, you could grab a fruit, you eat it. A lot of people have less complications because it's straight off the plant and it's healthier. But here, we're getting 88 cents deal, we're going to no frills, we're getting the cheapest, everything is preserved, but at the end of the day, we're getting the unhealthier choice. A lot of people are eating fast food compared to cooking at home, right? So at the end, our choices are not always the healthy one at the end. Okay, but fruits, of course, it's good for us. But if you're diabetic, like for example me, it's still something that I have to control. Okay, you can't just eat as much mangoes as you want. Okay, yes, sir.
Please, I want you to emphasize. I know you talked about fruits.
Yeah.
And back home we get a lot of organic fruits here. We don't get a lot of organic fruits here. But I want you to do us a favor here. I want you to emphasize more on the importance of exercise. Our people don't have that.
The importance of
Exercise.
Oh, the importance
Our
of
people
exercise.
don't have the habit of exercise at all. I want you to emphasize on that. Please.
Why we tell everybody to exercise is because you got to remember, exercise is important in our lifestyle. That piece of paper that you have, if you guys exercise every day, you could increase your life for probably around 4 years.
Yes.
So that's very healthy. So what we always tell people, some people like to eat X amount of times every day, more than 3 times a day. We're trying to tell them to exercise at least 30 minutes after you eat every day. Okay? Try to get those walks in there. Try to take the stairs instead of the elevator. A lot of the times I'll wake up, I'll go straight to my class, and what exercise did I do? then I work 8 hours a day. I'm finished, I come home, I eat, and then I go to sleep. But the exercise is not good. Yeah. So try to exercise as much as you can. Because anytime you have any sugars or anything excess, you can help break that down and burn it. Okay? So exercise must be part of your lifestyle. Okay?
So we might need more of the foods every day exercise because there's no exercise.
Yeah, you can eat fruits, you can eat always vegetables, always try to go for that healthier choice. And exercise. Okay? Water is key too as well. I can't stress how important is water. Because water, you need it to survive. Okay? So one of the things, if you guys ever want to, some people want to do businesses, some people want to do different things. So I'm really well connected within the community as well. So I help the newcomers come here. We get kids from 18 to 25. We send them back to school. We pay them $600 a week up to 6 months. We help people with getting their PR. I helped this year 300 people get free PSW. So I run a nursing school, I run a college, I run an agency, I have a water business, I do first aid and CPR. I have a company called Evolve, I do chiro, I do physio, I do massage. So I have 7 streams of income. So my goal is to get the youth to teach them how to become an entrepreneur at a young age. Okay? So that's something else. If you guys ever want me to come back, if you talk to Mercy and her husband, they will tell you guys how to get the machine.
On behalf of our audience, because I want to especially thank them for the opportunity they gave us today to learn more. You know, most of us here, we're not in the medical line. Some of this information are coming to us, you know, first hand. And maybe the first time we're hearing certain keywords. We're not going to take it for granted. We really thank him especially for, you know, giving us this insight. And he has also emphasized that he's open to work with Igbo Union further than this. So we're going to follow with him. They have so many programs. And you know, certainly we're going to work together to provide this resources to our community. And from the reactions you can see today, they love what you know, what you did today. And I'm really very appreciative of that. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. On behalf of the executive, we're going to promise you are going to bring more programs like this, and we have a lot of resources that we're lining up. Just stay tuned and you know, support Igbo as much as you can. And we're going to, you know, we have lots of government institutions that have reached out to us, you know, ready to work with us to provide this resource. So we continue to go as much, go forward as much as we can. And people are asking, how do you get this machine? So hopefully we're going to get one of them as well. We can direct them to the Thank you, everyone. I think we're going to conclude the meeting at this point, and I just have to